Penelope? Spirit just said Penelope. Penny? I think the um I think the nickname for Penelope is Penny. Sherlock and Watson on the case. Mm-hmm. Run and thrive. Ooh, ooh. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. I pressed pressed start before I even cleaned my mess up. So unprofessional. So sorry. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Patience. I am your astral investigative psychic journalist, bringing you the 5D news, bringing higher perspectives of linear views, spirit news. I don't know. I don't know why I gotta say it like that, but it cracks me up. Thank you so much for being here. Spirit's like, read it, execute, for chaos, terrible ordeal, something's going on. I was at work and I was like, I said to the Spirit, I said, I wonder what the daily lives of the elites are right now. Incredible. Spirit said incredible. Because I was like, I wonder, like, they do all these rituals, they do all these fertility rituals, and they work for so long. LOL, let's go. Yes, Spirit said incredible. Your support is incredible, and I send you blessings tenfold, 20-fold, 30-fold, 100.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have. Thank you for being here, LOL. As always, thank you so much for the support. But yeah, Spirit, transcend. Spirit's like, we need you to tell people, even the elites, what the consequences are when you do fertility rituals. And I was listening to my friend Z. Well, not my friend. I wish we were more friends, but you know, he probably has a lot of his, I mean, I can't speak for him. I can only speak for myself. I feel like at this time I get Beatrix. Yeah, at this time Beatrix Lestrange, I get attacked a lot by somebody who doesn't want me to have relationships or friendships, or maybe that's the elite. I don't know. I don't pretend to know. I don't care, but anyway, I just want to be friends. Anyway, that was for somebody. I don't know why I said all that, but it's like a confessional in here. Who's doing that? Did someone do a truth spell? Who did a truth spell? So, I was at work. I was like, I wonder what the daily lives of the elites look like. Like, I wonder, after doing all those fertility rituals, like, what is it that they go through? Because I don't do magic, so I'm not educated on what it looks like we talk about it. Well, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. I know they have a spirit of jealousy. It isn't their soul that's jealous, it's just they have a spirit of jealousy or something. I don't know, but I don't want to give that too much energy, but I wouldn't be here doing what I do if it weren't for them. So the contract has been fulfilled and I'm just awaiting its finality. You know what I'm saying? You pick up what I'm putting down. Speaking in code over here. Yeah, and they're losing. They gotta be freaking, yeah. They are losing, and it's really sad, actually. Honestly, it's quite sad. I don't know. It's like, you gotta laugh at it because it's like done now, but it's sad. So let's get a higher perspective of what what's going on with the elites in their personal lives, and what does it look like, the consequences of doing such extreme ritual fertility spells, and putting spells on the collective, and still continuing to do them, by the way. I had a hat on, so my forehead has the hat crease. I just got off of work. Okay. Holy Divine Spirit! Holy Divine Spirit! Please tell me what is going on. What are the vibes? You know what? I was feeling, yeah, okay, thank you. So I was feeling these stickers before, and Spirit said, right, okay. All right, we'll do the stickers. Spirit! What's going on? What is going on with these fools? Tell me. Let me get a good one. Let me get a good mix in there. Not looking. Oh, we got a quote. When I go, promise me you will not settle for anything less than poetry. I cannot bear the thought of you unwritten. Tyler, not Gregson. The rest is still unwritten. Ooh. Who sings that? Natasha Bedingfield. When I go, promise me you will not settle for anything less than poetry. I think some are preparing to leave this planet, to cross over, to move into the non-physical realm. Absolutely. Yep, I think so. I think Spirit said Beatrix, and all I can think of is Beatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter. The evil sister witch that was Sirius Black's sister. From the Black family. The Black lineage. A sister, perhaps. All we have is now. I think a lot of these people are starting to question why they went so far. Yeah. Why they went so far. Never give up in reverse. Never give up in reverse. Yeah, something that they kept doing over and over and over again. It's because they were receiving. They were receiving. Ossified. Spirit just said ossified. I don't know what that means. Let me see. Ossified. LOL. I wanted to ask you a question. I have some people that are coming in my energy and I don't know who to read. There was Harry Truman. I just got a confirmation for Harry Truman, but I'm definitely doing Ruth Bader Ginsburg this weekend, and it was a toss-up between Harry Truman and the manager? I forget his role, but he was Britney Spears' old manager who's crossed over. So I'm not sure which one to do. What else? So they were doing something over and over. Now they're thinking, about their impermanence. Oh my gosh, I've been getting a lot of downloads about the law of impermanence. It's like they were so confident because they kept doing something over and over with Lou Pearlman. Maybe it is Lou Pearlman. I have his name in my reminders. Let me see. I forget his name. Oh, of course, I gotta back up my stuff. Sorry, hold please. I don't know if it's Lou Pearlman. I don't think it's Lou Pearlman. Let me see. Because, everyone's talking about the clones and... Listen to your voice singing any song. And, that was a commercial. Let me see. Um, oh, here. Oh, shoot. What? No way. Did I not write it down? No, I wrote it down. I could have swore I wrote it down. Damn! What the hell? What? I could have swore I wrote that down. Damn, I don't know how I'm gonna find it again. Well, if it's meant to be, it'll come to me, I guess. But I was gonna do Stanley Kubrick as well. Stanley Kubrick. If I can find out that guy's name, I can't believe I lost it. I think he did the Backstreet Boys too, yeah. It's someone else who also, oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now. I gotta say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I came to you with a question that was not clear. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, so they were doing it for so long, and I think they just got comfortable because it had been, oh yeah, ossified, because it had been so long before they started to receive any type of consequence. But there's something that was happening, because it says all we have is now. So there's something about them, like, putting the pen to paper, thinking they had to do something very extreme. Yeah, that they had to do something very extreme, like now, to like move something or to like solidify something in concrete, to like, I'm not sure why, but we're just trying to understand their, possibly someone born in December 1972, because that's where Harry Truman died in December 26, 1972. And this says, when I go, promise me you will not settle for anything less than poetry. So possibly someone, I don't know. So the word was ossified. Ossified. Ossification. Ossified. Tissue turned into bone, or figuratively, a person system that has become rigid, inflexible, unchangeable, implies hardening, such as aging joints, bureaucratic attitudes, which is metaphorical. Yeah, they were like stuck, metaphorically, they were ossified. They were stuck in this belief system that this is what they had to do to create abundance. This is something that I know works, and so I'm never going to stray from doing this. I'm not receiving any consequences, so I'm just going to continue doing, and that's why I never give up. Never give up was upside down and inside out. So what they were doing was inverted to what true creation is. They weren't actually creating abundance, they were harvesting abundance, and that's different. When you do rituals, you're not, Spirit also said paranormal, so they could now be in this place where they were doing these rituals, and I'm not sure why they're receiving paranormal activity, but a box. But they were ossified. Had limited thinking. It was just, it's like if you have like your old Grammy's recipe for chocolate chip cookies, you're not going to change the recipe because if you follow this recipe and this is the tradition and it's worked for everyone who uses this recipe, and what the outcome will be because it works every time, like, you're not going to stop doing it. You're going to, I'm not saying that cookies and fertility rituals have the same intention, but I'm saying it's like the similar principle, okay? The smells linger for both. When you're cooking Granny's cookies, it smells linger, and when you're doing spell work, they could be getting very smelly. I have known people who have done spell work that I didn't know it at the time, but now that I know what they were doing, and I put looking back at what I know now, I'm like, oh, just very smelly, don't take care of themselves, very like almost like putrid. And it's not so much, sometimes it's not them physically, because they're physically be trying to take care of the smell. In the spirit. You can actually like smell the decay of their body or something. I'm new to it all, so I'm just telling you the data and the observations of walking in this gift, and the things you'll encounter. So I'm not an expert, but I got this guy. So someone doing possibly like some kind of African or working with practitioners from other countries, or there it's in reverse, and this is here as well, which looks a little, and it's got this hair on it. It's got my hair stuck to it. So something about their hair falling out, something about them being upside down, possibly even the practitioners that they commissioned to do, because I don't think that they knew. I mean, I can't see Jeffrey Epstein, like really spiritual doing like, I don't know, something that they would, I don't know, some kind of like, I don't see him lighting candles and like, making potions. He's going to pay somebody to do that, you know? So they definitely hired people, practitioners that took money, dirty money, to, create chaos, to do spells on people, to create some kind of conflict. Oppressively, Spirit says, oppressively. So they could have sought out many different types of cultural magic. If you go to our TikTok, we posted findings from the Epstein emails that we found ourselves by inputting keywords that Spirit gave us, and they were practicing voodoo and witchcraft. You can see the emails if you'd like. We have posted them on our TikTok for you. You can find that through the link tree in the description bar. So we definitely know that they were actively seeking out different cultures' spiritual practices. Okay, and they were commissioning them. But that's in reverse. So there could be like a cutoff. Like these people are not answering the phone. They're not going through a good time because they're going to have to go through their own judgment. Okay. Different, same. Conflict. I'm reading the words. These are all like newspaper clippings and like magazine clippings. I see cells. I see, yeah, just some real distorted energy. They could be, there's a lot of newspaper clippings, so it could be, just, all of their information being outed on the news and such. Or I will say that's like newspaper. So I want to say, not traditional news. It's, there's lots of different other articles that are attached to this, and there's a cell right here, a cell. So lots of different junctures, or even what I'm getting is like YouTube channels that are reporting the true news. Epi's niece talked about the ritual stuff, then in their group did, so he was quite involved in hands-on level. I think he was involved in the big ones, that involved, the children. And I don't think that he really viewed those as, I think if he was going to do it, it kind of feels like he wanted to be part of the biggest the biggest ones that had the most important people and had the most impact and got the most of the outcome from it. I think he wanted to be part of those. But when it comes to like, doing sending, a death spell to this person or to that actor or to that person who said no, I think on that smaller scale he was hiring practitioners to do that for him. Because he's not, I don't think at any level he's the one who's like, running the ritual at all. I think he's just with these people that do them, and then he got in contact with them, and so I don't think he's actually like initiating the ritual. I just think he's part of the biggest ones. So those practitioners that he hired, and I even found some online, but I was too afraid at the time to. Spirit gave me clues, and I found one voodoo priest, and he was with this. It was on Instagram, and he was with this woman who she was almost like a debutante Instagram person, and her whole profile was just her going to like rich people's parties and stuff. And she had a picture with him, and I could see that he had this goblet with this red juice in it, and he had all these rings on his hand, and I could see that they altered the hand, but I'm wondering if there was some kind of blood running down his hand, because the cup looked like blood. So anyway, that was just something that, this is very common in their world. And I know for us, we're like, what? We're like, what? This is insane. Why are we allowing this? This is what they're doing, and we're shocked, because obviously if it were socially acceptable to do these fertility rituals, they wouldn't, need so much secrecy, okay? But to them, it's very normal, and they can be very, they're going on award shows, and Ellen's saying, "Oh, we're gonna have a big party tonight, and there's gonna be so much pizza, and everybody loves pizza," like sick, man. So all the people that hired the practitioners, and all the practitioners that took the money to do these things, to send death to people, to ruin people's careers, ruin their lives, make them go crazy, take all their opportunities away, close all the doors. These are the people that are wondering, all we have is now. Now they're being faced with their impermanence, and that they actually do have consequences, and that God don't make no mistakes. Okay, God don't miss. And what they thought was them getting away with, all the things that they were doing, was really just part of a bigger picture that they were very limited in their awareness of. And so now they're all the news outlets are putting the pieces together. And since we're not getting answers from, our government, they're not being candid and open. I love you too. It's up to us to piece all the puzzles together, because they're doing their best to keep it all distorted. Okay? So never give up. In reverse, they're just trying to figure out what they're going to do, because they know that at any time, they don't know when, they don't know how, but they're going to go. They're going to go. I love me too, baby. I love you. I miss you, babe. Julian. I'm sorry, Julian. I love you too, but I miss you too. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. Okay, what else? I'm sorry, I went on a tangent. So Spirit said ossified, tissue turned into bone or figure tooth. So they could also be aging quite rapidly because they were doing fertility rituals and, you know, they look youthful and they all look the same because these fertility rituals do something to them. But if it's not working anymore, if they can't do an energy exchange, if God's not allowing them to receive energy in this way anymore, then they're not going to be able to get vital force. And so they're going to be aging quite rapidly, possibly becoming inflexible. But it's also speaking to their habits and ideas and their bureaucratic attitudes of, being, untouchable. Okay. You are a torrential downpour of all my forbidden longings. You are a torrential downpour of all of my forbidden longings. Interesting. Torrential downpour. Over the fourth house, I feel. So emotions, yeah. They're feeling, it's been a long time since they allowed themselves to feel emotion, because really to do these fertility rituals, you have to I don't know, I haven't done them, but I would imagine, you'd have to turn off a certain part of your emotional capacity to even be able to perform the rituals without emotional disruption, because it requires a ruthlessness and a coldness and a callousness that having empathy and compassion just can't allow you to do. So, God's like, open the floodgates, because you haven't felt these emotions for a long time. And under I feel the moon, emotions, feminine energy, yeah, they've been in their very masculine energy. I also have right eye, right arm, digestion, or reproductive organs. So they could also be experiencing like erectile dysfunction, blurry vision. They could possibly be experiencing overeating or undereating, depending on the person. But it's because they're so overwhelmed with their emotions. They were so secure. What once made them so secure is now the one thing that they cannot do anymore, that was giving them that false sense of security. It kind of reminds me of the Lady Gaga reading where, Lena Morgana pointed out that anyone who does these rituals will never know if they could have done any of the things they've done, like for their achievements and their success, on their own, because they did these fertility rituals to ensure, because it worked every time, and they got so many people, they're just overconfident. And now that they can't do the rituals, they have done it for so long. They're like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? I'm going to lose everything. All we have is now, and then this one. And Spirit said paranormal. So, like I said, they could have, hurt a lot of animals and humans by performing these rituals, and now they're surrounded by the ghosts of all of the they're surrounded by the lives they've took, animal and human. I feel like a human is still an animal, so I don't know if I need to separate them, but keep moving forward in reverse, under never give up in reverse, under on top of I grow, Jupiter with religion. Yeah. What once gave them their religion, that gave them optimism, expansion, and a new philosophy, is now the opposite. So what once gave them such certainty, Spirit said, zip it. Spirit said, zip. God said, zip it up, because what once worked is not going to work anymore. And so now they're being forced to give that up. You know, they had a false sense of philosophy. Their philosophy was flawed. It gave them abundance. It gave them some ability to have this great expansive optimism because, like I said, doing this ritual up to this point, these rituals works. It worked every time. And we highly recommend that you do not do them. Otherwise, you're just going to be right where they are. But they have no forward movement. They have no forward movement. I have so much of you in my heart. I have so much of you in my heart. Under the upside down woman. Under Uranus. Ryan? Someone named Ryan? Someone named John? Someone named Tyler? Greg? I have so much of you in my heart. They could be like actually, they could actually be feeling, they could actually be thinking about people they've hurt at this time. God could be really making them sit in their feelings about all the people they deceived, all the, I'm just halfway through and you're wild, really appreciate it. And you, this Sean Ryan interview of Father Rippinger, author and priest exorcist, explains so much. It's amazing info. Let me write it down. I think I might have listened to that, but let me, Sean Ryan, Father Rippinger. I take a listen. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Forsaken land. 4 hours long. Well, I'll have to listen to it at work then. I'll definitely take a listen. Maybe I'll break it up. Spirit says forsaken land. What I'm learning is that you are God's land, like your physical vessel. Find the item. Find the item. Find the item. I gotcha. So Spirit's saying, you know, these people had forsaken God a long time ago, and they gave up their spiritual inheritance the minute they believed that they needed to do something outside of themselves to create or to have certainty, to control certainty, you know. Spirit showed me this civilization that is on a whole other dimension, planet, I don't know. But it kind of like reminds me of Bashar, this civilization, like the way they talk and stuff. But in this civilization, they live by synchronicity. And so they know that if they ask, Spirit says it's rural here, it's not known here, but if in that society, what they know is that anything that's meant for you will find you. And all you have to do is believe, have a good intention, and want to create. That's all you have to do. And anything that they need comes to them, and they just live in joy and know that whatever's meant for them, God will provide for them, because they're an energetic match to that knowing. But these people, you know, we always are Witches portal. They're witches. Witches and warlocks from the days of Atlantis that, this has happened in many cycles. And every time these people choose witchcraft, and that's the beast that we're fighting in this time that stop me. Yeah, because it's an addiction. They get addicted to it. They get addicted to having certainty. It's hard for people that need control to unfasten their grip. The Spirit said unfasten, because they get comfortable in knowing that what they want will come to them if they do this. And because they've done it for so long, it just has given them what they've needed this whole time. And they never, it's like if you knew that, it's why we have the veil of forgetfulness. And my husband asks me this all the time, and bless his heart, he just can't grasp it yet, but he will. And I hope that you will when I say this. In that society I was just talking about, everything comes to them because they're receptive and they know that it will. But here, if we all get the veil of forgetting, because if we knew that everything worked out for us and we never had to worry, then life would get kind of boring. And we don't come here, the whole point of coming here is for a challenge, for the earth challenge, where you cannot get a challenge as sophisticated and as elevating as an earth challenge, as an earth incarnation, or that's what my guides say. And so you get the veil of forgetting, because if you knew that you were an infinite creator of love and light, and that everything works out for you, and that you're loved beyond compare, then it wouldn't be as fun, and it would get kind of boring, because you're already that. We didn't come to earth to be that. We came to earth to see how long it would take us to remember what we are, not to come in and remember what we are when we're already that. Does that make sense? 11, thank you. Oh, I was getting that today too. I've been seeing 11, and then Spirit gave me the character 11 from Stranger Things. She's a child psychic, and they're trying to replicate her abilities, and they put her through hell, and she doesn't have a normal childhood, and yet they're trying to quantify spiritual abilities, God's abilities, and they think that they cracked the code with the witchcraft. They're like, oh, shortcut. We don't have to go the long road for ascension and go through all our shadow work and take accountability for all of our bullshit. We'll just take a shortcut and get what we want this way, and we won't have to do that, but that's just not the way it goes. That's the law of impermanence. That's impermanent. It's not. Nothing here is permanent. Everything's always changing. So the fact that you thought that you could continue to do the same things over and over and over and over and over and create so much heartache and so much pain and so much suffering, and then you spread it to other people because you wanted to look like you had power, and you wanted to show people that you work with entities and you're powerful, and it's like just this whole big mess he made. It's just a big mess that they're in. So they're absolutely like melting at the thought of being publicly humiliated. All the news channels and YouTube channels and everyone knowing their business. It's making their faces melt right now. Confirmation. I just had it said witch and famous, which is a very funny play on words, but it's kind of like this, instead of doing the work, taking the shortcut, and never thinking that you'd ever receive any consequences. Okay, because this is a virtual reality. Okay, they were trying to control reality. They wanted to have the ultimate potential and all the opportunities, and they never wanted to not have opportunities. But that's not life. That's not why. Hey, Scovy. That's not why we come here. Okay, I'm going to do... Spirit said brothel. Basically, what they had was a worldwide brothel. Yeah. It's like putting on a show, saying, F you, I can do what I want. Do what thou wilt. Isn't that what Jay-Z said? Or what Aleister Crowley said? Do what thou wilt. No. No. You can't do unto others as you'd want done unto you, is the golden rule. You just made that up. Aleister Crowley just made that up. Do what thou wilt. Yeah, that's just what some demon told you so you could do what you want without any guilt or consequences. Well, you've fallen. There's some fallen angels. Rippinger explains that because of these families' generations of practice, they retain and instill dark knowledge, which they use to do dark thinking. The darker they are, ensures higher rank in hell. Yes. Yeah, I'm learning that as well. It's definitely a generational thing, and I think we discussed this a little bit as well in one of the last readings. They are entering. The Spirit said they're entering hell, all right. You want to be high ranking in hell? You got it. Prepare to feel hatred all the time and emptiness all the time and never feeling full and always feeling hungry. That's where the seat in hell will get you. Let me just respond to my husband. He said he'd get the kids. Yay! Thank you. I love you. Sorry. They are entering hell. That's what they wanted. It's because the entities trick them. The entities need the vessels to have, to have experiences, to have physical experiences, to feel again. And so that's, the entities trick the vessels into doing these extreme things because these entities have lost their ability to feel anything. And the infestation is that it's spreading to everyone because they need more and more and more. It's never enough for them. And so the more people that they can infest, or infest is like the best word, I think. Like a parasite or like a plague, like the Black Plague. It feeds the entity. And what the human gets is physical manifestations of opportunities and fame and wealth, but they have no fulfilling relationships. They can't trust. It's a false positive. They can't trust anybody. They don't know if any person around them could, unalive them, or, it's a false positive. You don't have to worry where you're going to get your next meal, but you don't even know if anyone would, have your back if you needed them, So it's like, I don't know. I don't think that that's really like a good trade. I don't think it's a good trade. False positive. Whoopsie. A false positive. You can't get good things. You can't be a good person when you do bad things. You can't walk in your divine inheritance. You can't receive divine inheritance when you're doing things that are not honoring divine energy. It's a false positive. Yeah, it looks cute. Yeah, I look really pretty on the outside. I'm just a, innocent bystander. But no, you participated. He said Satan himself even admitted he loathed and is ashamed of the and he has to deliver in hell. And even every time he corrupts another soul, which stunned me. Well, you have to remember that God made Satan to be the ruler of this realm because of the actions he took. And he said, you know what you'd be really good at? You'd be really good at conjuring people's shadows up and testing them. And because you know what it's like to have these emotions. And so you'd be really good at doing that. So I have a very important job for you. I need you to go be the ruler of the earth realm and be the one that has your army go out into the world and whisper into the ears of the humans things that match their energy and see what they choose. Because Satan doesn't make you do anything. All he does is gently nudge what's already there, and it's up to you to decide, like, what? That sounds crazy, or, yeah, she deserves it. She deserves to blah, 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 whatever, you know. And so, it's like, I can't even pretend, but it's not Satan that makes you do it. Satan's just reading what's already there. I'm excited to see it. I'm gonna see it. I love confirmations for information Spirit gives me. It's beautiful. And so I'm not saying that, I think Satan gets a bad rap because he does elicit people's shadows and he does, bring them out. But ultimately, you're a divine entity having a human experience. And so you need to have the light and the dark to contrast between, so you can choose which one in any moment where you encounter at any moment these principalities. It's up to you to decide. The devil doesn't put a gun to your head and make you do it. And all he does is amplify what's already within you. So if you have a fear of eating people, or you were touched as a child and you have a fear of that, well, now he's going to amplify it, and it's your choice to act on it or to repress, or to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to someone else like it was done to me. And so that's it's not that I wouldn't say it's not that he wants to do it, because he's a divine being as well. He's made by God. So it's like everything that God made has a role and a purpose. God made everything. God's omnipotent. God don't make mistakes, I love you. I be loving God. The first step is you have to say you can. Yeah, I made this picture because there's this woman at my old job, and it used to, of course I would never tell her, and it was my own thing, and it wasn't her fault. And it was just speaking to this, that you decide what you can and can't do. But she would always say, I can't. Oh, this day I can't. Oh, this happened and I can't. And it was just like, stress at the top. I was like, oh, it's so annoying. Yes, you can. If you want to walk around saying you can't do this and you can't do that, then yeah, you won't do shit. So these people they have no forward movement. They don't know how to be in this new earth energies. The things that they were doing that match the old earth energies it's not going to work in the new earth energies. It's just a different frequency. We say this all the time, you can't be more but do less. You can't want more and be less. They're two different energies. You got to choose. You want to do better, you want abundance, then be abundant. What are you doing to change your circumstances? You don't think you can ever be forgiven for what you did? Then that's an option too. But it's all in the beliefs you have. There was this woman. There's this YouTube channel called Almost Famous, I believe. And they have stories from people who have experienced supernatural things, or people who have like had near-death experiences. And there's this woman, and she told her near-death experience where she actually went to hell. And she experienced hell in that short time where she was not alive. And she said that her extreme Catholicism and her beliefs in that and about what hell is made her experience a version of hell that she imagined in her mind, even though the things she couldn't forgive herself for were very minimal, but according to Catholicism were, you know, deserved to be in hell, you know? And so when she died in that moment, that's what she believed. And so that's what she experienced. And then there was this, and she explained the things she was seeing, which were very, you know, scary. And then she had a moment where Yeshua came down and said, you know, I can take you out of here, but you have to believe that you're worthy of something different. You have to believe that you're worthy of forgiveness. You have to believe that you're worthy of my help, and then we can change your environment. Wait, I love you, Spirit. And the minute she decided to change her belief system in that moment is the minute that she got herself out of hell. And Spirit says all the time that you create your own hell. God does not put you in hell. God forgives all. You are God having a human experience. You're God experiencing themselves. And so God thinks every experience is valuable. And it's up to you to decide if you can forgive yourself. And God calls it the truth booth. When you cross over, you get put into the truth booth, or you have like a review of your life, and you get to see all the things that got you to where you were for that moment. And you decide, you know, like I asked about Hitler. I asked where Hitler is, and he's still in the truth booth, because the things he did were so unforgivable that he's still not ready to let go of that. So he's still in the truth booth, and you can be in there as long as it takes, you know. So but you have to take steps towards, you know, believing that you deserve forgiveness. Okay. Oh, they're angry right now. Very angry. Very hostile. Very volatile. Very upset. Yeah, they're going through a hard time. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie about it. Go wild for a while. Yeah, they could be indulging. They could be in this mentality like, all we have is now. Fuck it. I'm just going to go hard and paint. I'm just going to do all the drugs. I'm just going to drink all the drinks and do all the pills. Those stories are incredible. I saw one where an atheist talked about seeing Hitler there too, and what he explained 24/7 on loop. Yeah, that's right. That's what I saw too. And I guess the greater the travesty, or the greater the guilt and shame, you know, the longer you might have to go. And I also heard a story about the same loop for the guy who created Mormonism, because of how many people continue to still practice that false religion. And I'm not putting down anyone's religion. I'm just saying that was the same experience for that creator of that religion, you know, that said it was okay to marry multiple young children at a young age. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if we're watching the same things. LOL. We must be. Failure is the ladder to success. Yes. I think these people are so used to getting their opportunities and doing the rituals and not having to suffer the consequences of failure, because they're doing these energy grabs, the fertility rituals, to gain inspiration and gain ideas and gain almost false podcasts. Yes. Oh, I said almost famous, almost false podcast. That's the one. I watched all of those. I listened to all of those. I ran out because I watched all of them. Yes, I watched the same ones. Oh, well, I love you. Just want to tell you that. I love you. So it's like to them, to these people, the thought of failure to them is something that they haven't had to experience in a long time. And so it's very scary for them. Oh, thank you so much. I love you. So it's very scary for them to fail, to think like, oh my God, what if I do step forward into a new energy and it doesn't work? That's life, boo. That is life. Well, you think you're immune to life? There's no such thing as failure. How are you supposed to know if you can do it or if it'll work if you don't try? Spirit always says we come here for the variety. And this absolutely equates to our new episode that we're developing, episode 20, Spirit and Identity. These people are so ossified, petrified in their identity that they've created on this ritual, that they can't even function. They're like old people starting over, like they're 20, and it's like they're so stuck in this inflexible way of thinking. It's like, okay, well, if you don't fail, how do you know that it's gonna work or not? If you don't even take a step forward to see like what will happen if you do it differently, then how will you ever know? So it's like, I don't know. It's like science experiments. If you're afraid to do the experiment because it might fail, like, going into the science experiment that you might have a lot that don't have the outcome you're looking for. But how are you supposed to know if you don't even try? So learning can't be bad. Why we're here. Exactly. But they've just been doing this thing that was certain, they were overconfident. Every time they do the fertility ritual, it works. But it takes in another way that they didn't think was valuable. They didn't care that it was taken away from their relationships. They didn't care that, or they just didn't see it. I don't know. I'm not sure, I'm not sure. I think what they valued was more material than emotional, or, so it's unfortunate. Believe and you will succeed. I cannot make it up. I cannot make it up. Yeah. This is the land of make-believe, boo. It's whatever you believe it is. And you can't, it's like another thing that, I'm trying to help my husband to learn is you can't have a miracle or a divine experience or even a supernatural experience or even an opportunity if you don't believe that you can, or if you don't believe they exist. If you are cutting yourself off from even believing that it's possible, then you immediately cut yourself off from having the experience. You cannot experience something you don't believe in. You can't experience something you refuse to believe. Does that make sense? It's two different energies. The best way you can go into the future and forward is to not cut yourself off by your own limitations, or by your beliefs. So instead of saying, no, that's impossible, that'll never happen, that could never happen, say, I don't know what's possible, but I'm open to anything that's meant for me that's of the highest good. I don't know what's out there, but I would love to experience something positive that can help me move forward. I don't know what's out there for me, and I don't know what the universe is made of, and I don't know if there's a God, but I know I want to experience goodness. I'm open to how that comes to me. It has to be open-ended. You don't have to believe in anything, but at least know that anything's possible. Okay? Yep, again, the journey is the destination. Absolutely. I'm going to do one more of these and then Spirit said Linda. No more babies. You can't do this anymore to the babies. You can't do this anymore to the babies. No more fertility rituals. No more. God said no more. This is not the way to step forward. It's time. It's time to put down the babies. No more babies. Okay? They're obsessed. They're addicted. They're falling apart. They only know one way, and they don't know any other way. They are like the very babies that they've been taken. No more babies. Okay? God said, no, you ain't hurting. No more babies. It's ridiculous. Rock bottom. Rock bottom. Yeah, so expect a lot of these people. I think what the hardest part about our society is that our society believes that justice comes through the justice system, and that we have to see it and know that it's happening for us to feel good about whatever judgment is being brought down on these people. But the thing is is that there's no amount of judicial justice that will ever equate to the justice and judgment of God. Like, even if we can't see it, even if we don't know exactly what each particular person is being punished with, I can guarantee you 100% that they are getting exactly what they gave. And that could be in the form of jail. It's definitely going to be karma, legal troubles, their life falling apart, emotional turmoil, people leaving them. It reminds me of Ferguson, the Duchess. She was in the emails giving her daughter away and really speaking very nonchalantly about, underneath the stairs, selling her daughter to Jeff Eppy. Just very casual, as if it's nothing. And everyone's walking away from her. Nobody wants to be associated with someone who could so callously and nonchalantly give their children away to predators. And God knows what they were doing. Talking about orgies and running trains on your own daughter. I tried to put myself in her shoes and think about if I spoke to my daughter that way, and absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would just, it's disgusting. No more babies. No more babies. Okay? So they're gonna be having all of their business plastered all over the news outlets. They're indulging in substances because they just, quite frankly, just don't even know what else to do. They're in this fuck it energy, they're like, all we got is now. Let me, I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to process these emotions. I can't talk to anybody about it. Like, who do you talk to about, therapist, I'm upset because I was eating babies and stuff, and I'm really upset about it. They put themselves in this situation, though, honestly. They really, really did. What else, Spirit? What else are they going through? Angela, Susan, Linda, John, Ryan, Tyler. Those are just some names I got. Withdraw. Yep. Their magic's being rejected. They could possibly are trying to do the same things like we said in the last reading, because of the full moon and stuff and the celestial alignment. They were trying, but Spirit said, no, I told you a million times. I told you a million times. Rejected. Spirit realm's rejecting them at this time. You have to get off the drugs, right? An inherently satanic system can't occasionally be of God for humanity's best interest. Death. Death. Just like at the beginning it says, when I go, confuse. They're confused. They're confused why it's not working. What once used to give them a gift is now giving them fright. Okay? It's because we're in a different energy. We're in a different new energy. It doesn't work. You can't do rituals in a golden age. In a golden age, we all are in touch with our divine inheritance, our gifts, which is really just your soul. It's really just your soul. We all start, light flicker. We all start having more community again and being there for each other, more compassion. We start realizing that we can live in a synchronistic society where we know we can get anything we want at any time by matching to abundant energy. By being in abundant energy, you can get whatever you need that's needed by synchronicity. Lucille Ball. Lucy's always popping up. This isn't even supposed to be in here. Lucy's always popping up. Lucy. I love Lucy. It reminds me of Lucy the movie. The movie Lucy. You seen it? Luc Besson, or whatever his name is. Luc Besson. Lucy took that drug. Infamous. Lucy took the drug and realized that her unity with everything, that she is everything. You haven't seen Lucy? LOL, you would love Lucy. You would love it. You really would. It has Scarlett Johansson, but she took the drug, the CT40 or whatever it's called, and that's what these people were like. They were doing these rituals, and you have to understand, it kind of reminds me of Jim Carrey. Oh, we should ask about Jim Carrey. Oh, it's kind of weird, though, because I don't want to, if he's not gone, I don't want to infringe on his free will. I'll just ask Spirit their perspective. Spirit, what's your perspective of... Oh, sorry, let me finish my thought. What I was getting when I was watching Jim Carrey is he came across transcendental, spiritual knowledge. And I don't know if it was from doing these rituals, but what I do know is that another reason these people become so attached to these rituals is because they're in contact with interdimensional entities that give them knowledge, cosmic knowledge. And so it's their philosophy, their religion, that makes them believe that, oh, well, I'm in contact with cosmic intelligence and I have the key, the master key to cosmic knowledge, you know, like Jafar from freaking Aladdin when he's like, make me a genie with cosmic power, you know, but his intention was not correct. So he got exactly what he asked for. It got revealed he pulled it as a joke. I don't know. That sounds like a psyop to me. That sounds like a psyop. That sounds like, oh, everybody knows that it wasn't really him. We gotta do something else. Let's see. Spirit, what was that about? What was the Jim Carrey thing about? Let's do an imagine if. Let's do an imagine if. I don't know if it was a joke. Imagine if Jim Carrey were a plant. Which would he or she be? Kudzo. Kudzo? What the hell is a kudzo? Let me see. Kudzo. Declare your thoughts. Spirit says for me to declare my thoughts, but I'm scared. Kudzo. Fast-growing, invasive, perennial vine from Asia. Invasive. Smothers other trees by growing up a foot per day. Erosion control. A deep root system. Primarily known as a destructive pest that costs millions in control and damage. The management involves a combination of mechanical and chemical biological methods that are illegal in many states. Yeah, I think that was just a psyop. Hey, Robin! Hello! I think that was just a psyop because people were complaining. When I saw Jim Carrey at that award show, I cried. Because I was like, I love Jim Carrey. I know that he's probably did something horrible to be that famous. I don't know. He's very talented. I mean, I do know. I know he did. But I cried a little because not Jim. Not Jim. I was like, no, not Jim. I love me some Jim Carrey. I love him. Makes me want to cry right now. Spirit, what are you saying?
Something here belongs to me.
Something here belongs to me. Spirit, what do you got to say about the cloning stuff? Imagine if cloning were a crime. I can't make it up. 6. Indecent exposure. Indecent exposure. Wow. You know, using cloning, it's just very like, it's very like Atlantis, where they were trying to play God, and they were like, creating different species by mashing different species together with humans, and then cloning particular humans, and but the thing is like the things that would, when you make a baby, that's a divine act. It's the Holy Trinity, right? It's the Mother, the Father, and the Holy Spirit, and it creates a portal so a divine being can come into a human vessel. But when you make a clone, it's like, well, what's animating it? And it's like anything, anything that wants to come in that can't anymore, And so anything that they clone will have whatever decides to indecent exposure, whatever decides to inhabit it, is indecent, indecent. They'll do anything. They don't have a divine spark. So there's something about that. Something that's an invasive species. They could be cloning people at a rapid rate. So these interdimensional lower astral entities can have vessels, and they can do whatever they want. In an infestation, an invasive species. Let me go somewhere else. Spirit, tell me more about this technology. Give a presentation on your favorite sexual moves in the style of an inspirational TED Talk. Yeah, they could have many, many of these clones that they send out to do these rituals. What's the implications of that? What is the implications of using a clone to do rituals? How can I find that out? Spirit, let's look into the subconscious. Let's look in subliminal. What are the implications of using clones for these rituals? Like, what does that mean? remembering and forgetting. A man sets himself the task of portraying the world. Through the years, he peoples a space with images of provinces, kingdoms, mountains, bays, ships, islands, fishes, rooms, instruments, stars, horses, and people. Shortly before his death, he discovers that the patient labyrinth of lines traces the image of his face. Yeah, they could be making clones of many things, trying to be God, trying to trace the images of God's face. But what they're really doing is creating a labyrinth of lines. It says shortly before his death, too. A man sets himself the task of portraying the world. The old part of thinking the old way of thinking in a country that's home to tobacco and hot summer nights, trying to build a garden of complexity, pleasant like a single story building, but gray with gray bricks. So they can create a clone and have it be a vessel for an interdimensional lower astral being, but it doesn't mean that they have the ability to be colorful or to be to have like a variety of complexity. Elon University, oh my gosh, it says Elon University, a private school that's declining, that came to dominate the town, that wanted to stay hot on a hot summer night, to be with 22-year-olds, to sleep in the bed of men that snuck up their back door. But their phone line has a busted light bulb because the noise is not enough to rouse her. Because it's a clone doesn't, and it has a soul in it, it doesn't mean that it has any feeling. It's a dark soul, and so it's not confirmation. It doesn't have the same complexity as a divine being, if that makes sense. But there's something that some kind of medical or some kind of science experiment that they've mastered, but they've been using it wrong. They've been using it they've been using it to get girls, and to have clones that do as I say, and but they're lackluster, they're missing something, they're personality-less, they don't have personalities, they're just pretending. A man sets himself the task of portraying the world. They're programmed, they're not, I don't know, something about them not having complexity, that they're gray, made out of gray rocks. But they were tricked into allowing themselves to turn the light on to think that they could fix this type of drink. They're trying to escape now and point the finger at somebody, but now they're naked. Libation, but now they're naked and their back door is open. I think that's referring more to the fertility rituals and having opened a portal within their own root chakra.
1970s.
And so now they're frantically pounded on, their entities pound at the door because they've been trying to beings because they've been creating these clones that allow these, lower dimensional entities or beings, Spirit says, to be in these clones. And they use the clones of the people to do these rituals, but they don't have vital force. And so these clones are actually, it says being raped and, all these things, horrible things because confirmation, because they're not looked at as humans. So it's this weird, afterthought of, I created you so I can do what I want with you, do what I'm telling you kind of thing. Something like that. Something about, it says right here, samples of hair and vaginal fluid. And I had that hair stuck to someone named Ronald. Hey, nobody. Huh. Hurt foot. They summoned a being to enter through sexual assault to these clones into themselves, which opened a portal to their root chakra, which makes them backdoor addicts. Or it's not that they're addicted to backdoor, it's that they're addicted to the energy that gets absorbed in that way because they have no vital force. Yeah, it makes me question whether a spirit infused clone knows it's a clone or if it thinks it's the person whose spirit is implanted therein. Well, this says a man sets himself the task of portraying the world. Through the years, in people in the space with images of provinces and kingdoms, mountains, spaceships. So I think that they understand that they're not whatever the being is that's in the clone. I think that they know that they're portraying. I think what this is saying, it says remembering and forgetting. So I think what Spirit is saying is that they know that they're a clone, but they have the memories of the person that's cloned or something. Confirmation, I just got a notification. So it's like remembering and forgetting at the same time, a false positive. It's like they are that and they have the memories, but because they lack the divine spark, they're gray. It kind of reminds me of the way Selena Gomez talks now. It's like, oh, yes, I really love it. It's not, I don't know why I'm trying to do that, but that would make sense why they all look the same and talk the same. And it's because it essentially is one energy. It's the same frequency of being that enters into these clones. Spirit, are you saying that Jim Carrey has been cloned? When researchers administer tests to this, the results are stunning. Cup, they find that about half the public shows a strong or moderate bias towards associating men with science. When we are aware of the link, of whether we are aware of the links or not. I don't know if I'm allowed to know fully that yet. It's not jumping out at me. I don't know if this is beyond my reference library or if it's just not to be known at this time. There may be some more questions that the collective needs to ask when it comes to what's happening here. I think this is an unconscious, this may be an unconscious process or test of emotional regulating of the collective to see how we carry out this information in our prefrontal cortex. Are we going to listen to what they say unconsciously and stereotype what they're trying to avoid, or are we going to mentally absorb what's been being shown to us and the way that life is being lived and what's being permeated in news and television programming? Or are we going to continue to be vulnerable and act as if nothing's happened? So this is like, we're in the middle of a divine test right now. Like, what's really happening? Prove to us that Jim Carrey is here. Prove it. Prove it. I want to see, I don't know. I want to see the old Jim Carrey. I don't want to see an AI version of him. I don't want to see a paid actor. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but all I know is that it feels funny. And I don't know if I can be okay with gotcha, oh, just tricked ya, gotcha, but you're listening now. Like, I don't know. Especially since I've been watching all of his past conversations about consciousness and him realizing that he's really nobody. And not nobody, but, we're all, none of us exist essentially, but we're all reflections of each other. I know it's like a false positive. That's like Spirit. I love you, Spirit. It's Jim being Jim. He paid a trickster known for such stunts to do this at awards ceremony. You'll see. I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, this is the face I'm making. It's suspect. It's really suspect. But Spirit says we can't know for sure right now. We're too into it. The timelines are, oh yeah, Spirit wanted me to say another thing, because at my last reading, if you guys notice watching me, I don't ever make predictions. Especially about, tragedies or future timelines. I don't read future timelines. I just read what's in the energy now. But last reading we were getting like natural disaster vibes and something about a volcano. I'm learning how to read energy, so I'm not always, I'm learning with you guys. I don't always read it right. And I'm okay with that. And I hopefully will get to a place one day where I'm like so confident that I understand all the time, which I don't know if that's possible, but I wanted to say that could have been metaphorical. And I never want to like scare anybody or like predict things like that, because I'm not thinking of that happening. I'm never putting my energy into that happening. I was just reading the energy, but I just wanted to make it clear, or Spirit wanted me to make it clear, that I don't make predictions like that. And I don't want you guys to ever be scared or like, take what I say. If I say there's going to be a volcano in Hollywood, in Hollywood, see, it's metaphorical. In Hawaii, that's what's going to be happening. When Spirit speaks, it's always, an analogy, a metaphor, it's always a symbol or symbology. Spirit speaks in symbols, and so it might not be literal. So I just wanted to say that. Spirit, any last words? We know what's going on with them. I feel good about the cloning. I know they do it, and I did question, well, what's animating the clone? Now we know. I do have questions though, like, does the clones I'm getting don't have a conscience like a divine being does? They're already entering a vessel without that divinity, without that ability to have a moral compass. And so I guess my question is then, what's the quality of life for these clones? Like, I know they're made in a lab, but if they have low astral entities inhabiting them without a moral code or compass, and they're not being treated as if they're human, then what's their quality of life? Spirit, please tell me. What's their quality of life? Do a very shy magic mic dance for your target. Magic. Over time. Oh, there's something about, I think what they thought that they could do as another shortcut, it's a shortcut to the shortcut, that they could create confirmation with a notification. They thought that they could make these clones to perform the rituals for them. But what are the implications that is happening because of that? What is happening because of the result of that? Demonstrate to the class how to put on a condom using the target's head as the tip of the penis. They're being abused. They're being abused. They're being used and abused. Because they're not viewed as they're viewed as like robots, essentially. They could possibly get sold, and, they get passed around, and God knows what. Chastise your child for staying up too late partying and doing all your coke. Yeah, just because they're animated and they're walking around, we might not be able to recognize if they're a clone or not, but their quality of life isn't able, they're always thirsty, and there is something about, like, over time doing having the clones do the rituals. There's something about their bodies, like, falling apart, or like their faces falling apart, or like, it kind of reminds me of this, like, they don't live forever. They have to constantly be remade over and over again. There's something about that, because they don't hold a divine spark, so they, like, atrophy. They don't have the ability to regenerate, is what I'm getting. They could also have, like, time slips and mental fog and, deterioration of their brain capacity, and they have to be remade again. But every time they make a copy of a copy, because they need every copy to contain the latest memory of what that clone had. And so every copy is a copy of a copy, and every copy degenerates in, quicker and quicker. So there's something about that. Very fascinating. I can't prove any of it, but I didn't make it up. Okay, I didn't make it up. Oh. So, any last messages for what the elite are going through? Any last messages? Let me see. Let's do some. Hey, Lake Superior. Hey, all my goodies are here. Dry as a bone. Hogwash. Yeah, they drying up. Just like that word ossified. The word Spirit gave us today was ossified. Tissue turned into bone, or figuratively or literally. And
Disappearance.
disappearance. Oh, a lot of them could be a lot of the elites could have made a clone of themselves so they could disappear in some capacity, or they could quite literally be disappearing. It kind of reminds me of that reading we did about that young lady who was doing root work on all her lovers, and like 5 of them passed away, and then it finally
January.
the cycle finally caught up to her and she ended up disappearing. Well, that was supernatural. You know, when you do those things so much, something supernatural happens to you. Chasing rainbows. Smart as a whip. Smart as a whip. Yeah, Robin's here too. What do you think about people uploading their personalities online? Oh, I haven't heard about this. I haven't heard about this. Uploading your... How do you upload a personality? I wonder. Spirit, what do you think about that? What do you think about uploading your personality? Let's do a vocabulary word for loved ones in the future. I don't know. Militate. To operate against, work against. Spirit's against it. Spirit's against it. Because again, just another tool outside of yourself that you're putting your energy into, that you don't need it. You don't need... If you want to be in touch with your ancestors, you can do that without having to upload your personality. You can experience the personality of your loved one without having to use anything outside of yourself. And I think as we go into the future with the AI, you know, that's the thin line that we're going to be walking. You know, are we relying on something outside of ourselves to hang on to something that we're grieving, that we think we lost? You know, then that cuts you off from ever experiencing their true energy. They are not that uploaded personality. That's not... They're unlimited when they cross over. And so Spirit says it's just another beast in itself that's being militated against us, you know, for us to influence us to believe in something outside of ourselves. And so it's not that you can't do it, it's that the danger is in relying on it to experience your loved ones. If you think that that's your only way to experience your loved ones, then you're not going to ever get to experience their true energy, and they're always around you. Like when it comes to my I'm gonna cry. When it comes to my grandmother, this is Grandma Satoe Miyata. When it comes to my grandmother and other crossed over loved ones, I have known them better now as they're crossed over their personalities than I ever knew them in waking life. And it kind of sounds sad, but you know, I was a kid, you know, and so it's a different type of relationship, but anyone is capable, anyone who has a soul and a divine spark within them can commune with your crossover loved ones. It's not just mediums, it's not just psychics, everybody's psychic. And so it's just like this reading, you know, these people, these elites believed that they needed these rituals. Thank you for the question, Lake Superior. I didn't know that, and so I'm very grateful for you to bring that forward. they believed that they could never have abundance, and this is part of their lineage, this is part of their generational curse they have to break, that's being broken at this time. But they believed that they had to do these rituals, fertility rituals, because every time they did it, they were guaranteed abundance. Guaranteed. They didn't have to question it. If we get these babies and we do the things that we do, that's in this book, that's from 1,000 years ago, that's from the lineage, and then from our ancestors, they're telling us that we'll get it every time, and they did. They do, or they did. They don't anymore because it's not working anymore. They became so reliant on needing that for abundance that now they don't know how to do anything for themselves. They don't know how to step forward. They don't know how to fail. They don't understand that failure is part of the process, because they don't fail. I mean, they failed in other ways, but to them that was just, a means to an end. Also, I'm struggling with it too. We got to stop calling them elites. You're right. You're absolutely right. They are not elite. They definitely thought they were, because they thought they were all knowing and they were in touch with all these interdimensional beings that gave them cosmic knowledge. So they definitely absolutely labeled themselves the elites. They're just humans like us, guys. They're just broken humans. They come from a long generational curse of fertility rituals that their family passed down and made them believe that they wouldn't be anything or be able to get anything unless you do this, But just remember that witchcraft makes you go crazy. So a lot of them are hitting rock bottom, jail, legal problems. Yes, absolutely. We can still pray for them. That's why we're here, because this happens every cycle. When we go into a golden age, there's always spirit. Someone don't want me to talk. Someone said, shut up. The thing that you resist the most is the thing you need the most. So if you resist people's confirmation, if you resist people's prayers and advice for you, then consider that the thing you need the most. Just like working out, Nobody wants to work out, but you gotta do it. You gotta take care of your temple, your vessel. Go work out. Go move your energy. Do it because it's hard. Do it because you don't want to do it. The thing you reject the most. I resist asparagus. Yeah, but asparagus with some olive oil and some garlic and salt and pepper. Ooh. Oh, thank God. Thank God for asparagus. Thank God. Thank you, God, for asparagus. Oh, Grandma, I love you. They tried to burn my picture, Grandma. They tried to burn her. I had to cut the picture. Almost. Nah. I love you, Grandma.
1960s.
All right. It's nacho time. Oh, what I wouldn't do for some nachos. We're a taco house over here. We love us some tacos. We really do. We love us some tacos. Taco bowl, and instead of you crunch up the chips in the bowl, and then you mix it around with the lettuce, and I love tahini, peach tahini. I'm sorry, peach what the heck is that stuff called? What the heck is that stuff called? Oh, I can't remember. It's by that brand tahini, but it's the chamoy. The peach chamoy in the taco salad with the chips and the ooh, so good. I'm all about tripas and asadas tacos, but brisket nachos are electric. Oh, you're making me so hungry right now. I am so hungry. Oh, I'm having a lot of fun in this live. Lots of fun. How can we end it? Let's say a prayer. Why don't we say a prayer? Let me see. Where's my prayer book? Oh. Where's my little prayer book of the Virgin Mary? Confirmation. Little office of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Come through, Mary.
Prayers.
In your prayers. Spirit said in your prayers. Oh. Oh, Josh. Well, beam it to my mind. The flavor. Wait, what is tripitas? Tripitas. What is that? Is that tripe? Is that like isn't that some kind of brain? Cow brain? I don't know if I can do that. I don't eat brains. Oh, Josh, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I don't know if it's wise to eat anything's brains or intestines. I don't know. It's very similar to bacon. Stomach linings. I don't know. I'm not against it. And you know what? Beam it to me right now. Beam it. I'm waiting. Beam it to me. Ugh, I don't know. My body's rejecting it. If no one told you devour the plate, I don't know. I think I would. I think my body would know. I think it would. But you know what? I'm all about cultural cultural embracing. I like to embrace all different things from different cultures. Spirit, please tell me. Ooh, I just love Mexican food. You're making me so hungry right now. I know, just stop it. You know one thing I miss though, because I live in Rhode Island, and I won't, compared to like, Arizona or Vegas, the Mexican food ain't popping like over there. But what I miss about every taco stand being on every corner is that they had it's like pickled vegetables, but they're spicy, and it's like carrots and jalapenos and onions, and you just get a little Ziploc bag of that. Ooh, I miss that a lot. Some pickled vegetables. Ooh, my mouth is watering. I can feel the spiciness right now. I'm by the border in El Paso, so it's a cold one here. Yeah. Yep, all that pickled stuff is fantastic. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's the best. They don't have that out here. They don't know nothing about that out here, unfortunately, but I do love Rhode Island, though. Rhode Island's the bomb. All right, Spirit, give us a prayer. Spirit said in your prayers, so Tex-Mex, yeah. Tex-Mex out here.
12.
There's a lot of Tex-Mex out here. Spirit said 12. Let me see. Oh, look at this beautiful picture of Mary. Virgin Mary, Mary Magdalene, come through.
13.
Spirit said Sean. S-E-A-N. Sometimes Spirit says Combs. Josh! Josh, I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm gonna buy me some tacos with that. Thank you. Some chapitas.
The proverbial phrase.
The proverbial phrase, Spirit says. All right. Spirit said 12, so I'm going to look on page 12. Night prayer. Night prayer is the last prayer of the day said before retiring. Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Night prayer begins with the verse, God come to my assistance, with the doxology. What's a doxology? I know I'm ruining this prayer right now, Spirit, but I don't know what doxology is. No, oh, an apology. I meant to say doxology and it said apology. Something with an apology.
Bad energy.
Bad energy. Something with an apology. Doxology? A short hymn or expression of praise of God, commonly sung in Christian worship to punctuate services. Well, I ain't gonna sing it, but let me continue. This is followed by an examination of conscience. A prayer of repentance may be said. Oh. A hymn follows. The psalm used conveys the notion of trust in God. Ooh, I said I wouldn't cry. After the psalmody, there is a reading from Scripture, a reading from one of the fathers, or the writers of the church may be added. So the psalmody, I don't know how to say that. Glory to the Father, and to the Mother, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. In order to respond to God's word, there is a responsorial verse which can be omitted if need be or replaced by another type of response. Then comes the gospel canticle, the concluding. Oh, this is like instructions. It's like giving instructions for how they can pray or something. Night prayer is the last prayer of the day said before retiring. A prayer of repentance, of apology, of asking for assistance to God, for God to come assist you, for apologizing, for believing, for allowing yourself to believe that God abandoned you. Oh Mary, all are chosen. The ancient prophets promised would bear God's only Son. Prepare to see the way. Prepare to see that in the womb the God-man might come to set man free. Confirmation. You embody God. You are the fullness of His grace. You are the praise and the wondrous honor that was given to you at birth. You save yourself from sin. You save yourself. Full circle, Spirit. Full circle. Yes, there is. Oh, full circle. Back and forth during church service, yes. God never left you. You left God. You didn't come here to have an easy life. Yeah, you went through some bad things, but that God's not supposed to stop those things from happening. You're supposed to change your perspective of why it happened to you. You're not supposed to take those things and then think that God left you and then operate in the absence of God. You're supposed to realize that every experience is valuable and that you chose those experiences because you thought that they would help you on your journey to help you remember who you really are. Instead, what happened is those horrible things happened to you, and you use those horrible things that happened to you to do horrible things to others and to justify it because God abandoned you. So you're going to make sure that every person you encounter, God abandons, and that's not how it works. And that's how they got themselves into this mess. God never abandoned you. You abandoned God the minute you decided that there was no consequences because of what happened to you. But that's the reason why you come here. You're not going to come to earth and live a perfect life where nothing happens to you. That is not the point of coming here. So Wow, P, you didn't get nearly as congested this live. Yeah, I didn't, right? Weird, right? I don't know what it is. Sometimes there's certain energies that, well, I've spoken on it. But yeah, because I had good energy. I had good energy in here today. I didn't have a lot of people, but it's okay. I had it's about the quality, not the quantity. Well, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much. Another fantastic, insightful, beautifully led, spirit led conversation about the consequences of ritualistic, sacrificial energy abuse. I love you guys so much. I'm going to be here tomorrow and Sunday. So tomorrow I'm doing Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's been coming through real strong. Even though I'm not like super interested in her, I just answer the call. I'm on the job. Sometimes you don't love every job you do, but I just love God so much. I'll do whatever God says. So I'm gonna do that. And then it's a toss up between if I can find, if it's meant to be, Spirit, if you want me to read that Britney Spears person to find out what's going on over there, send that to me. Otherwise, I'm going to do Harry Truman. No, I can't do it tonight. My nights are reserved for family. So Spirit's teaching me time management because I'm very neurodivergent. So I haven't always been good at time management. But ever since I became a baker, the young lady that's my boss is very good at time management, and I've been absorbing her skills. So I'm very excited about that. Maybe the Delphi girls. Who that? Who the Delphi girls? Like the Oracle of Delphi? Let me see. Let me see what that is. What are the Delphi girls? Murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. I had no idea. Well, dang. Let me go AI mode on this. Abby Williams and Liberty Libby German. Two best friends. Confirmation! And let it be done. I'll write it down. Delphi girls. Delphi girls. All right. You got it. I love you guys. Delphi girls on Sunday. Ruth tomorrow, 6 a.m. See you there, guys. Bye.